In the air. On the ground. And across the sea. Banjo and Kazooie are facing their greatest adventure yet. Now, with a little creativity and a bit of skill, they just might make it. To the top. Banjo-Kazooie. Nuts and bolts.
You know what's weird about this one? Nobody thinks about this as Banjo-Kazooie 3. Well, I don't think about it as Banjo 3, although some of that is probably because I didn't have an N64 back in the day. But a lot of it is just about how out there the concept was at the time. Banjo was a well-regarded franchise, a typical 6th gen Nintendo 3D platformer where you ran around the standard biomes and collected all the things. The things in this case being jigsaw pieces. But developers Rare did manage to make it a little bit special by leaning into the absurd humour of the setup. Main series villain, Gruntilda, has always been a particular figure of fun, and it was enough to provide a bit of real character that a lot of these games lacked at the time. But in the years following Banjo, Rare would take their particular brand of acerbic British comedy to extremes in Conker's Bad Fur Day, a mature game full of naughty swears and poop monsters.
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
That's right, mature.
How about some scat, you little twat?
I'm sure Virgil would have approved.
And it's this experience that would most influence the eventual third mainline Banjo game. Now that's not to say that Banjo now wants to show you his arsehole in a fucking alley or start singing about turds, that's not the tone here. Rather, Rare were more confident in diving deeper into the absurdity of Banjo's world. This time, ratcheting up the meta and fourth wall-breaking elements, frequently making fun of the broader gaming landscape here almost a decade on from the original, lampooning other popular franchises of the day, and even having a bit of light-hearted playfulness with their new platform, now being an Xbox exclusive rather than a Nintendo joint. This plays out primarily through the new character, the Lord of Games, or Log, who sets out the challenges that need to be completed, seemingly for no other reason than to make a new video game now that Banjo has become old and fat and needs whipping back into shape. This is all really great fun. It was fresh enough at the time not to feel derivative, and it's done with enough of a light touch to fall on the charming rather than irritating side of the line, which is a delicate balance when games try to be funny. I mean, at one point you find yourself running around the inside of the Logbox 720 games console with... Hang on, wait, what is that? What's that round flat thing on the ground? What in the world? Some sort of arcane technology, some prehistoric artifact we certainly won't be seeing any more of in our fabulous digital present. We're not getting into it, wait for the Christmas special, okay? But the main reason this game is so great is because it barely feels like a sequel to Banjo-Kazooie at all. The mechanics have been completely overhauled to the extent that it took quite a bit of flack from fans of the series for simply being too big of a departure. You're still collecting jigsaw pieces, or jiggies, in colourful 3D platforming worlds, but you're not doing it just by running and jumping around. Now you need to spend quite a bit of time designing and building vehicles to complete Log's tasks, as that's the only way you'll get your hand on those lovely golden jiggies. Building cars to go fast, boats to go in the water, even planes and helicopters to get to high places. You'll need cargo space to hold things. You'll need multiple or larger engines, fuel tanks, and you have to make sure their weight is properly balanced, or run the risk of looking like a proper dickhead in front of the Lord of Games himself. The reason this is so much fun is that it explicitly makes the process like building a Lego model. You can collect new pieces both as you explore the hub world and as you complete more challenges in each of the distinct biomes, so your simple rides can grow and develop into really quite impressive machines, capable of carrying out multiple roles or even transforming mid-mission. All the pieces come as blocks of particular size, and they mimic Lego so perfectly that it feels entirely intuitive by the time you've spent about half an hour on it. It's the build interface that demonstrates the most genius here though, because as a console exclusive, they needed to make sure you could use a controller to make all these complex constructions. The 3D grid is easy to manipulate, the blocks snap to the grid and to each other exactly the right amount that you don't spend hours trying to maneuver a wheel into the correct place, but you also don't feel like the game's building it for you. You have just enough freedom and just enough restriction that you can be genuinely proud of your own designs, but you never stray too far from what's going to be effective in the game. This might be the cleanest, simplest and most efficient build interface I've ever used, certainly in a console game. And it means returning to the garage after a mission to build a new vehicle never feels like a chore. I don't know why I keep talking about the weird hitching and glitching here. I'm definitely playing this on an Xbox 360, because that's the only way you can.
Okay, people, move along. There's nothing to see here.
I never thought a game that constantly employs a timer for every mission would end up being one of my favourite of all time, as I absolutely hate being artificially rushed. But this too has been integrated perfectly to never feel particularly unfair or restrictive. On the whole, if you don't have enough time, you're not using the right vehicle, so get back to the workshop and build something better. And it's that core loop that makes this so addictive. So get it out of storage and get this on. You'll lose a whole weekend and you'll love it.